Hey all, Steve from GuitarNiche here. On the bench today we have a lovely 2001 Warwick Corvette bass, fretless. Why is it in this video? Because of this right here. Intonation is out to lunch. I can tell you just by looking at it. So, how are we going to go about fixing that? Well, the nature of this game is a little bit different than fretting or intonating a fretted instrument. Now, if you'll notice, we have our double dot here, which most of us that play fretted instruments, that would be in the middle of the 12th and 11th frets. But in this case, it represents the exact midpoint, or what should be the midpoint of the strings. And then on down the line, you have, let's say that would be our 9th fret, but that's actually, a different intonation point. What would be the 7th fret and on down the line. So 4th, 5th, things like that, okay? How are we gonna make this work? That's the key. A couple things are gonna come into play here. I use the double dot, the midpoint, as a marker, and I'm going to check what we have by using a simple harmonic test, okay? So it's relatively in tune. As the saddles move around, as I adjust it, I'll probably retune it and stuff, but as long as it's in playable territory, it should be fine. Now, back to this, okay? Let's tighten up on that. Now, if we do this properly, if you look carefully, you'll see that there is a point at which the string doesn't seem to be moving. That would be the midpoint. Now I'm using the 4th string, the heaviest string, to illustrate the point. But to put a finer point on it, so to speak, I'm just going to use this dowel to feel it out. Right there. That's the midpoint right there. So I will mark that. You can see how we're a little shy of our exact middle. And then I will do the same on the treble side. Which is way up here. More or less about there. Okay, so we're the outer strings here are actually quite out of intonation, you might say. So down to the business end of things, down to the bridge, and we'll come out a little bit. How are we going to make things right here? Okay, goes like this. Because I know the intonation point on the 4th string here is a little bit tight to the bridge, that means I have to draw it up towards, I'll use it this way, towards the headstock. So I will do a few turns this way, and likewise on the 1st string, because the 1st string, well, we did the outer strings, and I'll get to the reasoning about all this in a moment. See how tight we can get that. Okay. So the basic, again, the bass is in relative tune. It's maybe not perfect, but it's close enough. Now we're going to check that again, and I'll leave the focus where it is. Right there. If anything, it feels like it's a little bit towards that side. So I'm going to drive that 4th string saddle a little bit closer to the headstock again. That was about a half a turn or so. Perfect, right there, right midpoint. So once again, we want to split the difference here, the middle of the piece of tape there. That's our essentially our midpoint for the strings. And where do we wind up with the 1st string? Let's see. More or less the same thing. You have to trust me on this because I can feel the vibrations through the dowel. It'd be very difficult to see that exactly where the 0 point is. It's right there. Okay, so just a tad on the bridge side of that registration. That was about a good turn up, you might say. That's perfect right there. I'm not worried about the tuning so much because as long as it's in playable territory, I'm good with that. Pitch is going to be kind of secondary. Intonation can be within, you know, as far as the pitch of the string can be relative sort of thing. But anyway, I digress. Now, if we look at where we are in terms of our intonation points on the bridge, through the benefit of experience and predictability, I'm going to set these saddles in such a way that they should be pretty darn close to where they should be. And I'll explain what I'm looking for in just a second here. So if I can explain it like this. Relative to the 1st string, the 2nd saddle should be back slightly. And then from the 2nd to the 3rd, a little bit more. And from the 3rd to the 4th, a little bit more again. So what we get is this arc. It's an exaggerated arc. If I were to express that in a different way, it starts off as a hard curve and then almost flattens out. It's the nature of frequencies and string gauge and all wonderful things associated with intonation and vibration. Okay? Now back to our 12th fret here, our midpoint, I should say. Old habits die hard, eh? Okay. Relatively in tune. Okay. Now we know the outer strings are done. Where's the 4th? Sorry, the 3rd string. I'd call that a win. Right there. Actually, maybe just a hair forward, meaning the string length is too long. So I move the saddle forward maybe a 1/4 turn or so. Perfect, right there. And the 2nd string. Perfect, right there, right in the middle. Right in the middle. So now we know that this instrument is intonated. It's done, which is pretty cool. Now intonation, as far as the bass goes, a fretless instrument, intonation is here. There's no frets. It's all in how you play. You know, being that there's no frets. The tape is making the buzz. Pretty cool. Anyway. And that's all she wrote. So it works just fine. it should be just dandy for the customer. Once again, my name is Steve, and this is GuitarNiche. Hope you got something out of that. Let's get that down. Okay, sorry. And yeah, so anyway, as always, play loud, have fun, have a great day, like and subscribe. That keeps the wheels greased so I can keep doing fun stuff like this, okay? Read the description down below. There's some free resources and stuff going on there all the time that you can take advantage of. And yeah, so have a great day, and we'll talk soon. See ya. Cheers. Bye.